Welcome back to Whiskey Riff Raff. I'm Shelby.
My name's Quinn.
And this is a bonus episode that's actually going up with Joey Logano, who is a NASCAR driver. Now, I don't know much about NASCAR, but he's for sure my favorite driver. And Quinn, unfortunately, you weren't here to do the interview with me.
NASCAR, a lot of left turns. That's the easiest way to start.
Yes.
I was not here for this episode, this recording, which is confusing. People are going to be like, you're not here for this episode. You're sitting right here.
Yes.
No, this was recorded while I was gone. I was on vacation. And so Aaron, another whiskey riffer. Is it okay to call people whiskey riffers? Is that derogative?
Derogative.
He is going to be the one with Shelby who's talking to Joey Logano. And what a cool opportunity for you guys. I was jealous. I was jealous of a lot of things that were happening while I was gone on vacation, but great interview. And Joey Logano's a pretty interesting person.
You know, I looked him up. So last year we got to interview Chase Elliott and Ryan Blaney, who are also great. But we were on the track when we did it, which is not ideal,
audio,
for
yeah.
audio.
Right.
Well, they weren't supposed to have anything going on, and it happened to be like the Xfinity series, which I don't even really know what that means, was started, and all the engines were going, and we tried our best to make it work, and they are available for you to listen to. However, the sound quality is not great.
I do remember that. I do remember those.
But Aaron knows everything about NASCAR and said that Joey Logano is pretty controversial. And so I did my research before and like first thing that comes up is like fighting video. Just him saying kind of like off the wall things immediately after a race. But he came in and like surprised me so much. So nice, so personable, big family guy, gives back a lot. And he's just like, listen, it's my job. It's $1 million on the line. When I feel like I'm being wronged, I'm going to be upset about it. And when I get a camera shoved in my face immediately after, I'm allowed to have a reaction.
I think people like that have to have some cutthroat to them.
Yeah.
And so I think that's probably natural for him to feel like that. You know, obviously, if I was doing something for $1 million, I would also be pretty fired up and willing to fight somebody. I imagine. I've never been in that situation before.
For sure. And I mean, I feel like I already am beginning to spoil it, but it's really interesting.
Yeah, don't give anything away.
I hope you listen to the full episode because he is awesome.
Yeah.
And that was, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah,
2 weekends ago?
I missed that. And another thing I missed out on was CMA Fest.
Yes.
And so I know that you were there. You had the full CMA Fest experience. So how did all of that go?
Oh, I guess I'll start from the beginning. Aaron put out an article that CMA Fest lineup this year wasn't great. I kind of disagreed to an extent because a lot of the stadium people, mainly Cody Johnson and Zach Top, were like pretty high on my list of people I'd want to see. Ella Langley, Riley Green, Megan. Did Megan? I don't think Megan played the stadium.
You saw Zach Top at the stadium?
So I actually ended up not going to the stadium at all.
Gotcha.
So
that's funny.
Yeah. So I was like, it's not that bad. And like, we'll see about Spotify House, which if you don't go to CMA Fest, I guess you don't know the difference, but CMA Fest has a stadium show every night that you pay for. During the day, there's all these free shows to pick from. And then meanwhile, all these other companies throw things in the middle. So like Spotify has its own event that's separate from CMA Fest and they have their own lineup, but it's like everyone's in town. It's crazy. So even that lineup wasn't as great for me personally in previous years. Like I didn't really care to see Rascal Flatts or Kelsey Ballerini or Jordan Davis.
I don't care to see Rascal Flatts either, just to put that out there.
I know I'm not alone on that, but there are a lot of people who do like them.
Yeah.
But the one day I went for specifically in a row was Zach Brown Band, Parker McCollum, Riley Green, Eric Church, and then a surprise guest.
Wow.
Which ended up being Marshmello, which was cool.
That is a surprise. That's certainly a surprise.
Definitely a surprise. So I went to the Spotify House on that Thursday, and that was great. Friday, I took it easy for the most part. I ended up at Chiefs, which I think I can finally confidently say my favorite bar. Not only because I met Eric Church there, but just love that bar.
And of all the things I missed out on, obviously this interview that people will hear in just a second was one of those things. But you guys sent pictures of meeting Eric Church, and I was, what the correct term is, FOMO, right?
Yes.
Feeling immense amounts of FOMO. Yeah. But how was that meeting Eric Church?
I mean, it was awesome. So it was me and Aaron, again, the person who's co-hosting the interview. with, and someone knew Aaron and knew, how much him personally loves Eric Church.
Yes.
And then Eric Church happened to be at the same rooftop party that we were at, which was for NASCAR. And he just introduced them, and they had like a 5-minute, I don't know about 5 minutes, but a couple minute conversation where like Aaron got to ask questions, got to say something. And so I was taking a video of it, and like the guy who introduced them was like, here, give me your phone. I'll get a picture, and I'll let you get a picture as well. So then I hop in a picture, and I'm like, all I'm trying to say, I'm a huge fan. There's nothing I can say to you right now. Like, I'm too starstruck. Have a good day. And then my boyfriend had a conversation with him as well. So it was awesome. He was very, very nice. And like,
that's always great to hear.
Yeah, which is the best.
And to give somebody that, I know you said it wasn't 5 minutes, but even a minute, 2 minutes, is spectacular. I ran into Jelly Roll one time, and he was asking questions about me, and I was like, "Whoa, no! I'm supposed to be asking you the questions." Yeah. So it's always nice to meet people like that and see that, like, oh, they genuinely care to connect with fans.
Yeah. So that was awesome. Saturday, the only person I saw at Spotify House was Marcus King, which my favorite, always amazing.
If you're gonna see one person, yeah.
Then I ended up just going out on Broadway and having a grand old time and got an IV Sunday, and I'm still hurting and paying for it.
Got an IV.
But overall,
is that included in the CMA Fest package? You get the IV at the end, or
it's called Perks of Dating Someone who can stick a needle in you.
Gotcha. Perfect.
But I don't know. It was okay this year. It was definitely not as great as years past, just because usually I'm there for the music, and I didn't feel like I was inspired or passionate enough to even go see most of the shows this year.
And weather kind of got in the way a couple times.
Weather impacted one day pretty bad, which sucks because it's summer in Nashville.
It shouldn't be
raining, but it was. But it was a time. Other things that you half missed out on was the zebra in Nashville.
Oh, well, I was glued. I was glued to this story of Ed the Zebra, so don't worry about that, Shelby. I actually probably paid too much attention to it, and that was a fascinating story, yeah. And the take that I have on Ed the Zebra is, if Ed the Zebra is free for 48 hours, let him go. And obviously there's probably some controversy to saying that. I'm not trying to upset anybody, but if this zebra can make it on its own for 2 days, I think the zebra deserves to just kind of imagine if you were just driving down the road and you're like, oh, there's Ed the Zebra. And then, speaking of tourism, CMA Fest, right? If there's just a zebra hanging out near Nashville, I think that's only going to help bring people to the city. So that's all I'm saying.
My thing is obviously it's a different animal than a deer, but deer run in the middle of the street all the time and accidentally get killed. So if that's the concern, it happens all the time. Not on purpose, but that's wildlife for you.
I hope, and maybe, I don't know if PETA will send us anything, but we're not, like I said, we're not trying to be controversial here, but the video of Ed the Zebra being not airlifted, but he was in some sort of harness that was lifted by a helicopter, I think. At least he got a good view, right? Before he got sat back down in whatever, fencing structure that he calls home. He got one hell of a ride there at the end to see everything. And I say the end, the end of him being free. Yes. He's back in captivity for now. What we know.
Did he get returned to the family?
I think so. Yeah.
I'm
and there was another zebra, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So it was
Ed's wife or what?
I can't get into Ed's romance. I don't know enough about it, but definitely one of the more interesting stories out of Nashville. Yeah.
There was a day that Chiefs, again, had a sign that said, zebras drink free. You know how many friends I texted for a zebra costume?
That's hilarious.
I was me and Aaron were we're going to show up in a zebra costume and just drink for the day.
Yeah, I just, I love zany things that happen like that. So Ed the Zebra, long live Ed the Zebra. And he needs to be a Nashville icon, in my opinion, even though it was Rutherford. I don't know. We don't have to get into the specifics. I think Nashville pretty much claimed the story that it was Ed the Zebra.
Well, you got back on the Sunday of CMA Fest, correct?
Yes. Well, late Saturday. Yeah.
So you were roaming the streets on Sunday.
I was.
And something very sad and unfortunate happened.
Well, yeah, tough transition, but we were talking about this. I saw someone get like someone that rides on those bikes that have the little seats in the back. I hope, I don't
pedal
know.
taverns.
The pedal taverns
Yes.
or, well, I think it was, I don't know if that's the right term, because it's a bike with a bench on the back of it.
Yes. The people, like, yeah.
Like
like almost like a carriage. Yeah. But bike.
I hope to goodness that this person is okay, but I did see the aftermath of them getting hit by a vehicle. So I don't know any updates on that. But then, weird enough, another accident like that happened apparently the same night on Sunday when Connor Smith, country music artist Connor Smith, apparently and accidentally hit someone in a crosswalk, and the 77-year-old woman that he hit did pass away, which is just a horrible situation.
Horrible.
And
what's important from that, like, immediately when I heard that, it was like, he wasn't drunk. Like, the reports say that there was no signs of alcohol involved, which, like, I think really changes the situation, because that's where everyone's mind goes.
And they were also, I believe, able to rule out that he was distracted by a cell phone or anything like that.
Yeah, that he was not.
So it's just one of those very unfortunate situations.
So sad.
And obviously our thoughts and prayers are with the victim of that accident. And obviously you also think about, Connor Smith, who I think one would call, an up-and-coming artist. He had the Creek Will Rise song that I think went viral on TikTok. I don't know how this all works out, but just a terrible, unfortunate tragedy that happened. And because like that happened Sunday night, I saw something like that happen Sunday night. So just like if you're walking around in Nashville or any city for that matter, just, always, I'm the type of person that I always double check. Even when the light flips on for me to walk, I'm looking in all sorts of directions. So, but sometimes things just happen and it's, you can't do anything, and it's really sad.
And during CMA Fest, a lot of the streets are closed, but the streets that aren't and like that have the through traffic, there are people there directing traffic. So it's just a freak accident, honestly. And also another accident that happened last night was a fire.
Yes.
in Nashville at the library, the library parking lot structure, which I always park in.
It's the go-to place to park in downtown Nashville for locals and people visiting that had the info to park there. As far as like parking and doing so in an affordable way, that was the way to do it. And it was a short enough distance to, all the things you would need at Broadway and whatever else that you're doing. And yeah, I don't know a ton about this either.
Do you know how it started?
I believe it was like 2 car fires, or I think people heard explosions, and there were like car tires. There's a lot to that where it's like they're still investigating that. So I think we'll know more about that at some point. But it's a significant amount of damage, because I went down and looked, and it's fire damage. Not only that, I think there was a partial collapse of the parking garage. They had everything zoned off. You couldn't go in. I don't know if people had their cars parked in there. I'm assuming they're going to be able to get them out, but I don't know that entire process. But it's like, that was the best parking garage in Nashville.
Agree. It was $10 for all
Nashville.
Day.
Yeah.
So it was the only place I parked downtown.
It's a real shame. So I don't know where that is going to go either.
Yeah.
But hopefully, that can get put back together. And otherwise, another parking garage is going to have to step up and start only charging $10.
Yeah. CMA Fest is always just a time.
It was, that all had, like, everything that we just said happened within the past week.
Yeah.
The parking garage thing, very recent. So, Nashville is in the news. But like I said, I prefer the Ed the Zebra type stories.
Same.
But another good story is Zach Top's announcement that he's releasing a new album.
Which I know you are, well, not you. Everyone
is a Zach Top.
Yeah.
You can stop somebody on the road,
and
ask them who their favorite country music artist is right now. They might say Zach Top, because he is, I guess you could say, single-handedly reviving that traditional country sound. And I found it interesting, based on the song that he's released from this upcoming album, which was Good Times and Tan Lines, which is a great name for a song. I wouldn't know anything about tan lines because I'm just 100% pale all the time. I was just, for people that are listening, I was just at the beach, and I don't look any different. I have not gotten any sun whatsoever. That's just how my skin is. It's very unfortunate. But Good Times and Tan Lines, the new song from Zach Top. The album's titled Ain't In It For My Health, I believe. I don't know what that means.
I mean,
but I guess we'll find out.
Probably from a lot of drinking.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out. But I think it was, if the single that was released ahead of it tells us anything about the album, it's more 90s style.
Fun.
Yeah, fun sound. And some people were asking, like, is he going to continue to do this 90s sound? Mm-hmm. Or is he going to pigeonhole himself and just continue to do this and then people just expect that forever? Mm-hmm. It does seem like he's doing it again.
That doesn't surprise me.
But, like, why wouldn't he?
There's also a weird debate going on online. You probably haven't noticed, but, like, this is what his management, PR, and everything is labeling his sophomore album. Although it's his sophomore country album, he does have a third album that was made prior that's all bluegrass. But, I mean, that's not for anyone else to say, but they're labeling it as that. So every time we post about, his sophomore album, they're like, it's his third album. I'm like, yes, but
yeah,
but I don't know, details, nuance, but
exactly.
And speaking of another Zach Bryan, he just announced another Red Rock show,
and he said he's going to keep it under a certain amount. It's going to be $50. An affordable $50 ticket, yeah, at the most.
Which I mean is great.
How does that work? Do we know?
No. I mean, I bought tickets at Red Rocks many times. I don't know how you stop resellers, no matter what. And I think they are going to be resold for a lot of money anyways.
Yeah.
But I think it's also probably a move on his PR just to, like, give back to the fans, which good. Nothing wrong with that.
Well, and historically, he's been a hater of Ticketmaster. Mm-hmm. So it's only right for him to say, like, hey, I'm doing a Red Rock show. It's going to stay under $50, and that's that. How that works out, I guess we'll find out. But
yeah, I don't think Red Rocks uses Ticketmaster. So
yeah,
we're good.
Good.
We're good there.
Perfect.
Anything else major happen?
Was there a new segment that we were going to start today, or did we want to launch that next time?
No, we can launch it now.
Okay.
We're going to do this new thing called Toast and a Roast.
Toast and a Roast.
We toast one person, one thing, one event, whatever, and we roast another. That's that simple. So do you want to start with our toasts first and then roast?
Let's do.
Or do you want to do a roast and then toast?
No, let's do toast.
Toast.
Okay. Yeah, I think that'd be good. You go ahead.
Well, I was going to say Zach Top, but now I think I need to change my answer. So you start with your toast.
I will toast Charlie Crockett.
Okay.
I am a huge fan of Charlie Crockett. I believe, we were just talking about Zach Bryan. I believe Charlie Crockett should be as big as Zach Bryan. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't consider Charlie to be one of those household names that if you rattled off country music artists. Yet he has, since 2015, released over 15 albums, both studio and live, but a lot of studios, like over 12 or 13, I think.
So many.
And the crazy thing is that it's good.
Yeah.
Like
every album.
He is putting out good music at a pace that it's breakneck speed that he's putting out these albums. And I just hate that he doesn't get the credit that he deserves. So I'm toasting, I have a drink here. I'm toasting Charlie Crockett. Cheers. Because he deserves more recognition in the country music space.
All right. That's fair. I'm actually going to do something kind of similar.
Okay.
Not because I don't get enough credit, but I'm also going to toast an artist who I had a really, good encounter with, I guess. Parker McCollum. I went to, like, this media roundtable thing. We just got to ask questions about the new album, which I've listened to and is fantastic. So can't wait for that to be out. He actually dropped a new song today. And it's one of my favorites on it. There's another one coming that I really like that I can't say anything about.
Can't say anything
which
yet.
Sucks.
Yeah.
But this was my second time meeting him. He remembered me, which I'm always like, that's just
nice.
It's just like a nice, personable thing for someone to remember you. It's like, how many people do they meet?
Exactly, yeah.
Every day. That, and then I made a comment about, like, the new album being similar to Limestone Kid. Mm-hmm. And he, like, immediately shot me down and was like, is it though? And I was like, ooh, I didn't mean to say that. I was like, well,
Yeah.
it is compared to your last 2 albums. And he was like, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, it's like everyone's taking pictures. And I was like, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend you. And he was like just the nicest, funniest. Like,
perfect.
I was just giving you a hard time. That's just
Yeah.
my personality. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I'm really excited for that new album. And I think I like Park McCollum even more now.
Perfect. Yeah.
So,
Well, they say
toast.
toast to
Toast to Park McCollum.
Toast to Park McCollum. And they say don't meet your heroes. So it's nice sometimes, we've already talked about seeing some or meeting some nice people in the industry. But let's not toast, let's roast some things. And you said it's a person, place, thing, whatever it needs to be.
Situation, whatever.
Because I was on vacation, I was on the beach. So I was, again, just to reiterate, in case there's some sort of like, whoa, who's this person? I'm not interviewing Joey Logano. Aaron is interviewing
Yes.
Joey Logano, the interview you hear in just a second. But I'm going to roast speakers on the beach.
Yeah, that's a controversial one. I understand.
I hate speakers on the beach, unless Jimmy Buffett is coming from said speaker. If you want to listen to music on the beach, like just play it to the audio level that you can hear it, and you're not forcing it upon other people. And I understand the beaches can get crowded, and sometimes you're kind of set up close to other people. But I think I'm there to experience the beach, the ocean, the sounds of the waves, every breaking wave that comes in. I'm not there to listen to Skrillex. So I just wanted to. I didn't get super passionate about roasting the beach because, like you said, it is like some people might be like, well, I like listening to music on the beach. If I want to relax and drink a beer and look at the ocean and listen to Kid Rock, that's fine. And I agree.
Yeah.
But just do it at a level where only you can hear it.
Yeah.
That's
People
how I
feel
feel.
the same way about like hiking. Like I lived in Colorado and everyone would be like, I came out here to be in nature. I didn't come out here to hear your speaker. I'm the type of person who I don't do silence.
Gotcha.
Like I don't even play with silence. It's like
The
something's
thoughts.
on. No thoughts can be
exactly.
roaming around
I get
free
that.
in my head.
Yeah.
But there's also like a respectful line.
Right.
So funny enough, I was looking at speakers at Costco yesterday, and there's this giant JBL one, like this one
I think
for
I saw that one.
$400.
I think I saw
I'm
it.
debating buying it.
Okay.
But we're like, where would we take this? The beach.
The beach. Okay.
Don't be that guy. Got
Yeah.
it.
Well, I mean,
No, good to know.
Be
Good to
that
know.
person if you want to. But I would imagine that you wouldn't need to use all of the speaker power that
yes.
thing would have
Correct.
if you were following my guidelines
Correct.
for music at the beach. But what do you have to roast?
Ooh, now this one I'm very passionate about.
Okay.
And it's Dasha.
Dasha.
Dasha. Not a fan of the music.
I thought it's not Dasha.
Not Dasha. It's Dasha. So
That's silly.
So
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. Cannot be her government name.
Right.
She has that viral song Austin. I'm just not a fan of the music, not a fan of like most of what she does, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like I genuinely have a hard time finding something positive about her. She did this whole thing during CMA Fest that's supposed to be like Coyote Ugly, and like she had like 5 naked guys on the bar and her dancing, and people
wow.
were like, "Oh, it's such a moment in country music," and I'm like,
Not any moment that I want to be a part of. Yeah.
not a moment I'm leaning into. Yeah. So I could go on a very, very long rant, but
Maybe it's best that we keep our roast as short as our toast.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
This is the first time we're doing it,
Yeah.
so
Agreed. Yeah, not a fan. So
that's okay.
yeah, it's okay. Not for everyone. And,
Exactly.
And the music we like is not for everyone either. So that's okay.
Perfect.
But what is the music you like this week?
I already mentioned Jimmy Buffett,
Yeah.
so I can't. I'm always talking about Jimmy Buffett, so just stop me. You need like a spray bottle, so if I bring up Jimmy Buffett, you can stop me. But I did listen to a little bit of Kenny Chesney while I was by the ocean, which always seems to work. So Somewhere with You by Kenny Chesney was played a couple times, and then the Uncle Kracker song with Kenny Chesney that I cannot remember.
He just came out with
the moment.
Mesosphere.
Yes. And guess who wrote about that? Me.
I'm
It's
blanking
super
too.
embarrassing.
I'm like, I know the song.
We'll just say
I know every word to the song.
any Kenny Chesney song.
Yeah.
There were a lot of those played. And so that was what I was listening to.
Summer with You is a really good one too. Mine is Lucas Nelson. He has 2 new songs out, I believe, on the new album, but Pretty Much was the first one that came out, and I'm obsessed with Lucas Nelson.
Yeah.
Like,
He's
I
good.
listen to Lucas Nelson more than I do Willie Nelson.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
Like, I think his voice is fantastic. I love everything he does. I love his vibe. I think this new album's really gonna like just put him up there for artists for me.
You're
Like
pumped.
to match like my love for Marcus King. Next is gonna be Lucas Nelson.
Okay.
So, and that's it for me.
That's it for you.
Yep.
And that's it for us in the intro.
Yes.
And now you will be listening to an interview that Shelby and Aaron did with Joey Logano.
Joey Logano, welcome to Whiskey Riff Raff.
Thank you.
Usually we have country artists on, but once a year we get lucky enough to have a couple drivers on. So you're our first and only this year, which I'm excited. We picked a good one.
Yeah, we got the defending champion, so that's I don't think you can really do much better than that.
Yes.
Well, geez, thanks, guys. This is quite the intro here. So, yeah.
Well, I'm
yeah,
sure
look
you're
forward to it.
excited to be back in Nashville too. I mean, you had the win last year, and that kind of turned around your season.
Yeah, it was a great win. It was cool. I was just driving here, and it's neat after you win a race when you come back the next year. One of the coolest things is you start to see the billboards, and there's a billboard going down the highway on the way here, and you see they're advertising the race, but they have your car like on the billboard. I don't know, that's kind of cool. Like, you still kind of driving down the highway, like, oh, there's my race car. It's still neat. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm doing this for 16, 17 years now, and that stuff's still cool. I think, at least.
Definitely.
So I have to ask, how did you save enough gas to win that race last year with 5 or 20 overtimes or however hell
I think
many you
there's,
had?
what, 5 of them?
I think it was 5.
4 or 5 overtimes. There's a lot of them. We did a really good under caution saving gas. That's where I was able to save the most. And it's not just me saving gas. It's also, the team did a good job at packing the fuel cell really full, right? So that helps a lot. I mean, they're able to pack it really good. The Ford makes really good fuel mileage. So that's another advantage that we had. So when you package all the things together, which the team did good, the engine was great on that side of it. And then I was able to do my part inside the car. It was we couldn't go another lap. I literally was going into turn 3 on the last lap as a leader, and it started sputtering. I'm like, oh no. And when you lift, it kind of builds enough fuel pressure back up. So when I came off the corner, it kind of got back going. And then when I was 200 yards from the start-finish line, it starts spitting, sputtering, shutting off. I'm like, oh my God, right? And they're coming at you at both ends, right? Like, both sides they're catching you. You just hoping
Reddick
to get
had a
there.
hell
You're
of
like,
a
come
run,
on,
didn't
where's the start-finish line? Like, get there. And so just barely made it.
Yeah.
Which is the closest we've ever cut it with fuel, I can promise you that. That was cool.
And especially after you saw guys like Larson run out on a restart and cause cautions, everybody was kind of holding their breath around me waiting to see.
You remember a lot of that race.
It was a fun race.
Yeah, it was quite the event.
That's a
Yes.
movie moment. Do you listen to anything, or can you listen to anything while you're driving, or is it pretty much just
Not in the race
Not in the
car.
race ever.
No, not in the car. It's just you got the radio on, not the radio.
Yes,
I
the
got like communication
Yes.
radio where I can talk to my crew chief, my spotter up there, so I can. And honestly, I don't know if you ever get so focused on something. There could be something on in the background you would never even know it's on because you're so focused in. That's kind of what happens when you're in the race cars. You're just so. I mean, honestly, like, your life's a little bit on the line, right? Like you kind of gotta like make the right decisions and pay attention and have this ultra focus for a long time. So you really, if there's music on, I don't think I'd even hear it because you're just so into what's going on.
And that's one
Plus
of my
that V8's the sound of music sometimes, I guess
is.
it's the best.
got Coleman, kind of
Yeah.
singing into
That,
your ear.
that might not be music to my ears,
Right.
but hey.
But that's the thing about, I like listening to the spotters and the team radios during the races. And it seems like once drivers, put on the helmet, they become a completely different person. It's just so funny. You see you and Ryan and all these drivers who are so nice and personable. And then you hear all the, especially Ryan. I know we talked about this with him last year. Just earning on the competitor mentality once you put the helmet on.
Yeah, it's one of the best parts about being an athlete is that, whether it's the NFL, NHL, NBA, NASCAR, when you get into a competitive environment, the expectation is different than what is considered success away from the racetrack. right? Like when you put your helmet on, it's really like, screw everybody else. I'm here to win. I don't really care how we get there. We just got to win the race. And you can do things that if you did it away from the racetrack, you wouldn't really be considered a good person. Right? Like, like, this guy's a real jerk. But in that environment, you're supposed to be that. It's a competitive environment. You're supposed to be out there to win, not only for yourself and your family, but also for your team, your sponsors, your fans. Like, that's what you're out there. It's a fight. It's a right. I mean, you're going to battle in that moment. So it's not about being nice, right? Like, that is where, the old saying, nice guys finish last. It's very true when you're in the right environment. But there's also, you got to be able to shut that off, because if you're like that every day of your life, you'd just be miserable, right? Like, and you would be lonely as well. No one want to be around you. So you gotta figure out how to shut it on and off.
Is there one thing while racing that will tick you off pretty much no matter what?
Oh God.
And what's his name?
Yes, well, that's a good one. There's always something, usually every race, that pisses you off about, and it could be anything, but you also have to keep things into perspective a little bit, because you think, okay, well, I was willing to do that. I guess I should be okay with that being back to me, right? Or maybe it's something that is crossed the line, and now you got to go stand up for yourself, and what are you going to be willing to do? And these events are long, right? You can't just have knee-jerk reactions. You got to think. You have a little bit of time to think about it. It's a 3-hour event, so you got to, maybe sometimes even longer than that. So you got to get to the end of these things. So a lot of times you can't let your emotions get the best of you when you're upset or mad. Like, maybe it's a bad restart, bad pit stop, whatever it may, even a slow car to start the race. You have enough time to fix it and recover if you can keep your head in the game long enough.
And I think we saw some of that after the All-Star race with the whole situation with Christopher Bell. You said what you said after the race, and then the next day you're like, yeah, I'm a sore loser. I probably should have been okay with that.
Yeah, that's pretty much what happened. Yeah. Well, hey, listen, we were racing for $1 million.
Yeah.
You lost out. Like, are you going to be upset? Yeah, I'm human. I don't know. If someone's listening right now and says they wouldn't be upset about losing $1 million at the end of a race, I think you probably need to check yourself. Because I think you probably would be upset. And so what NASCAR does to the drivers is they stick a microphone in your face immediately when you get out of the car. You haven't watched a replay. You haven't seen nothing yet. So you're mad. And you're like, we led the most laps in that race. Yeah. We pretty much had the race won until that caution comes out, and then we just didn't play it correctly. And so you're upset about it. And so you just kind of say whatever comes to your mind. Oh, that's kind of how I am, good or bad, just not much of a filter from the brain to the mouth. And then I watched a replay and I thought, I ran him all over the racetrack. I had it coming. So, but sometimes it takes a couple hours to have a moment to realize maybe that was okay.
It was funny because leading up to that race, there was all this talk about, is $1 million still enough of an incentive for the All-Star race? And, most of these drivers were saying, well, it's probably time to raise it. And then I saw a quote from you and you're like, hell yeah, $1 million is enough motivation to...
I mean, honestly, yeah, $1 million is, that's what makes our All-Star event so much better than other sports, because there's something to play for, right? Something to race for. You watch these other sports, they're out there for fun, basically. And you see they don't play defense. They're just kind of shooting around. They're having a good time. That's cool to watch them have a good time for a little bit, but don't you want to put something on the line? Like what's up there to grab? And it's been $1 million for a long time. So if you're asking me, should they raise it? Yes. I'm always going to say that.
I think anybody would say.
I don't think there's ever going to be enough. But at the same time, that's still a lot. And there's the prestige of winning the All-Star race. Like, that's always been a cool thing to want to check off on the resume at some point.
And get a win at North Wilkesboro.
It's cool
to add to your resume.
How do you handle like the mental game of it all? Like, it's obviously physical, but the mental part of it.
The mental game's the hardest part. And it's kind of like that in every sport and probably what's tougher though in NASCAR, in my opinion, I'm not playing other sports, so I can't really say for sure, but we don't have a 50-50 chance of winning, right? It's not 1v1. Like we are going up against, 39 other teams. So we race 38 times a year. A great season's like 5 wins.
Yeah.
You lost 31 times. You think about like you become quite a good loser because you just keep getting beat down. So you have to find ways to maybe find little victories, little things you've done well, or maybe just try to find some ways that you can have that confidence back before you show up the next week. So it's a tough industry for that reason, but you kind of got to keep some things in perspective on where things are at. But yeah, the mental game's tough, right? Not only is it a long season, but the races themselves are long too, and you're playing the whole time. You're not going on the bench and catching your breath for a second. You got to be in the whole time.
Going back to last year's Nashville race, how big of a spark was that kind of for your season? Because it feels like after that, you guys were just on fire.
Yeah, apparently it's what we needed. Yeah, that one locked us in the playoffs, and then we were able to make a pretty good playoff run. And then really the last 4 races were spectacular. So, yeah, hopefully we can do that again. We got the win earlier this year. Yeah. Thank God for that.
Get it out of the way early this year.
Yeah, that was good. And now it's just kind of stacking up as many playoff points as we can to be ready for the playoffs.
Do you have any superstitions or routines on race day that you have to do no matter what?
None.
Okay.
I'm like anti-superstitious person, and I will do the things that people say you shouldn't do because I just don't agree with any of it. Because I'm like, who made up this stuff?
You got to test it.
Yeah, well, I just want to prove to people how stupid it sounds. Because, I don't know. That's just me. But, like, you hear people say, like, what is you break a mirror, you get so many years of bad luck? What?
Yeah.
Who came up with that?
Yeah.
And that particular amount of years, or you can't walk under a ladder, you can't walk in a room with an umbrella open. I don't know. Like, all these things. What? Or lucky underwear? That's disgusting.
Yeah,
that's gross.
Wash your underwear. You know what I mean?
Please.
What are we doing? I just don't get it. So I've never been that way, and I'm so much not that way that I'll do all the things just to prove people that it's stupid.
Yeah, that's
but
the one that I always heard in NASCAR was that a green car was bad luck, and I'm like, at the same time I'm hearing this, Bobby Labonte just won the championship in the Interstate Batteries car, so I don't know that.
I don't know. That
one never really got started.
Sport. Peanuts are bad luck. I don't know why peanuts. They said that. What do they say? A $50 bill, I think, is bad luck in NASCAR. I don't know.
I'll take all the bad luck.
Yeah.
Take all the 50s, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, he
takes the bad
50s.
luck off your hands. Sure.
Now, what's the fastest you've ever driven a car off the track? Do you speed in your normal day-to-day life?
I don't. And I'll tell you why. Most of my cars I have are old cars, so I get to feel like I'm going 140. When I'm only going like 50.
Yeah.
It's just because the wheels are moving all over the place and brakes barely work. And I like antique cars. I'm like an old car guy. So I don't really, that keeps me out of trouble, right? I mean, that's kind of a good piece of that for me.
And do you like working on them as well, or do you stick to driving them?
I do. I used to work on them a lot more. I have 3 little kids now, and so now I've become a small engine mechanic, and I fix go-karts now. So I don't, not so much the big cars anymore right now.
Yeah.
They'll grow. The cars will grow with the kids over time.
That's when you have to start to worry.
Yeah,
when the cars start growing with the kids.
No kidding.
It's your wife and kids were in the Netflix documentary quite a bit. How was the process of that? Did you enjoy filming and being a part of that?
Yeah, it's I enjoy it. It's a little odd, if I'm being honest, like to have cameras following you, especially when you go to like places that are not near a racetrack and you're just going to dinner or something like, and there's cameras following you, and people just look at you like, who's this guy with the cameras? Like, what's going on over here? And you're like, it just draws all
cameras
this attention,
at your house,
right? I'm not like that kind of guy that's just like, hey, look at me, you know, like. So it's just kind of odd,
right.
And so it was good. I set some limitations on like, okay, I don't want someone in my house when I first wake up in the morning watching me brush my teeth.
Yeah.
Nor do I ever want to watch somebody brush their teeth. Like, like to me, like if I don't think it's entertaining, to me, I don't want to be the person doing that. Mm-hmm. So, and I don't want a camera in my home. That was one piece that I said, I don't want people to see the inside of our house. And I just feel like for security reasons and just, it just isn't, is that really going to make the show?
Right.
No.
Is it really necessary to document your run to the championship?
Tune in to see that? No. So I was like, I mean, they can, we got our front yard, we got some trails for the four-wheelers and the kids ride and, some cars and stuff and go to shop and do that type of stuff. Sure. That's fine. We'll do that stuff. So you can kind of set some parameters of what was okay and what wasn't. Yeah.
It feels like with that and, even with the Earnhardt documentary that's out now, that NASCAR is doing a really good job of marketing themselves lately. Mm-hmm. Do you feel that as somebody within the sport?
Yeah, it's good storytelling. Yeah. Right? I mean, that's such a big piece of it. There's just like everything else, right? Whether it's country music or other sports or business, from what it looks like on the outside, it's so simple.
Right.
Right? Like, you just get up and sing the song. How hard can it be? Well, there's a lot to it, right? And you guys know the music industry. I mean, it's so complex. Mm-hmm. And it's the same thing in NASCAR. You guys just drive and turn left all day long. How hard can it be?
I have that argument with my friends all the time.
Right, but everything is, when you're doing it at the very, very top level, right? Country music here in Nashville, wherever it is, you're at the very, very top in your respective industry. There's so much that goes into it to be the best at it. And I think that's where the storytelling matters, because it's one thing to turn on the radio and just listen to a song. It's another thing to hear about how the song was made, right? And how it got there and all the people that were involved in it. Same thing in NASCAR. Yeah. You hear, there's 300 plus people working at Team Penske building race cars and all the sponsors and everything we got to do to bring the cars from track to track and get everything ready, and the engineers and designing the cars and all of it to lead to just turning left. Right? It's crazy.
The backstory just makes people appreciate things so much more. And a story I'm really interested in, most people always want to know about, whether it's country artists or athletes' love life. I read that you met your wife in high school. Is that correct? Can you tell me the whole story?
We were high school age. I was not in high school. Okay. But yeah, my wife, she was a figure skater, and I worked down at the ice rink. I drove the Zamboni. And so,
I've always wanted to drive a Zamboni,
which is really fun. And so she also worked in the concession stand when she wasn't skating. She was a rink rat, they're there. She was there all day long. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, she's pretty hot. Like, I kind of like Brittany. And I would drive the Zamboni, and I always thought I was impressing her because I would drift the Zamboni around. I get the thing all sideways and try to do these ice cuts in like 6 minutes. I thought it was cool. She never cared apparently about that. But she was my first date, first kiss, and here we are. So 3 kids later, we've been married for 10 years now. So. Yeah, I got lucky on that one. I always say the number one most important decision you make in your life is who you choose to do life with. Mm-hmm. Like that, because that just changes everything. Yeah. Right? Like, when you get home, or just the decisions you make, and then when you add kids into the mix, all right. I mean, if anyone's listening and got them, oh boy.
Do they travel to a lot of races with you?
As most, not all, close ones. Yeah, most of the close ones. Yeah.
I also want to talk about your foundation. So you also held an event actually with a country artist, Jordan Davis, recently. What was that like?
Oh, it was awesome. Yeah. So our foundation is all about foster care. Mm-hmm. My wife's mom was in the foster care system. Her uncle fostered and adopted a sibling group. So it's kind of been around our family for a while now. And we just have a huge heart for them. Not only for the kids, but the foster families. It's such a huge undertaking to, for one, get licensed to be a foster parent. That's a really hard thing to do. But then also taking on a child that has trauma, right? Like they've been through the ringer. Like these kids have been put into a situation not of their choices, right? I think as adults, sometimes we look at people and we go, oh, well, they made bad choices. That's why they're here. Well, these kids didn't do that. Yeah. They were just a bystander of the bad choices more times than not all the times, but sometimes it's like that. And so I just have a big heart, and my wife does too, that we just want to help those situations. We paired up with some great organizations that mainly in North Carolina, but also kind of spread around. That just really help these kids become a contributing member of society, right? Like, how do you break the cycle and show them some love, right? Like, these kids just need some support. They need a good role model. They need a hug.
Stability.
Right? Just the simple stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And so these organizations that we work with are absolutely incredible. I always say, listen, you guys started the fire. You got it going. It's great. We're going to come in with the gasoline, and we're going to dump it on you, right? And we're going to make it bigger than what you already got going on and make it bigger. So it's been great. So we just had our country music concert. That's where this whole thing started. And so we had Jordan Davis there. It was great. It was at the Coyote Joe's in Charlotte. Have you guys ever been there?
Never been, but well known.
It is an old school country bar in Charlotte for sure. So had it packed out. Had a lot of fun. It's great.
And what other events do you kind of do to?
Well, that was our fundraising event. And then a lot of times from there on, it's okay, we got to disperse the money and make sure that it's going to the best use. So that's what takes up a lot of the time after that. Because it's one thing to donate your own finances. But when people are donating to your foundation, expecting you to do the right thing with it, well, that adds a whole nother layer where you better not screw this up.
A lot more responsibility.
Yes, a ton more responsibility to make sure that it's actually impacting these kids in the best way. So, like I said, we really partner with these other organizations that we work with. And we just went to one of them yesterday before I came up here to Nashville, Black Mountain Home for Children in Black Mountain, North Carolina, near Asheville. They had a lot of damage from Hurricane Helene. We helped them with that, but now we've been starting to give cars away. They have a car scholarship program. So they have a program within their organization where the kids that age out of foster care, they have like on-campus living for them, where they pay a little bit of rent. They got to do some other things to live there, right? And you have to meet all these other markers. You got to graduate. You got to have a job. And you get a car. And you get your first cars. They need a car to move around. So we dropped off 4 cars yesterday. Fords, may I add, obviously. I felt like that you didn't even need to know that, but
I assume.
Yeah. So we dropped off 4 cars. They also have an off-road program there, which is super cool.
Oh,
so
that's badass.
For the kids that still live on campus that are under 18, they hit some markers that they can earn riding time. Right. And so we went up there and rode with them yesterday, which is, it was muddy and rainy. We had a blast, and then we grilled out and then flew up here. So it was a fun little event.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's cool.
You sound busy.
Yeah, I stay busy. It's good to stay busy, though. I like it.
Yeah.
It's good.
Do you feel like, I know you've had your kind of feuds in NASCAR over the years. Do you feel like you get a bad reputation, or do you kind of embrace that? Like, I know Denny was recently talking about how he kind of embraces the villain role. Do you feel like, this story about you going out and riding with foster care, does it piss you off when you get boos? You're like, no, look at all the shit that I'm doing off the track.
Yeah, you just gotta categorize it.
Right.
And you also gotta know why you're doing it. And right, like the purpose of why you're doing it. Am I doing it for people to like me? No. So when they don't like me, screw them. I don't care. I know who I am, right? Like I know my heart inside. And so if you haven't had the opportunity to meet me away from the racetrack, right? We talked about it earlier about how, like, in a competitive environment, am I cutthroat? Absolutely. Like it is, I'm there to win, and I'm going to take everyone out to do it. Like I am there to win. I don't care if that's going to be in a race car or if that's in another business. My goal would be to put everyone out of business. I want to go win. Yeah. It's all or nothing. That doesn't make me a bad person. And it's really hard for people to understand that. Yeah. But that's just who I am as a competitive person. I'm just a winner kind of person. I gotta win. That's what I gotta do. But if people don't like that, I'm not going to change that piece of me, because that's what's helped me become successful. Yeah. That's what's allowed me to do a lot of things with the foundation, right? Like one thing helps the other, right? If it wasn't for the trophies, and that's how I win. Yeah. If it wasn't for that, then I can't make an impact on the other way. So if you're going to boo me for that, screw you. You think I care? Like, I really don't. I just kind of keep going with my life.
Yeah. And it seems like everybody always hates the winners in NASCAR. You just go through those cycles. And like right now, Kyle Busch is everybody's favorite driver after he was hated for so long. Like, it's just funny to watch how those things evolve over the years.
It is an odd place to be. But
it's artists too. I feel like people hate whatever's popular,
I know. It's kind of weird. I don't know why it's like that. Because, like, for me, and maybe my perspective is a little bit different, but I respect the people that are killing it. Yeah. Because I know it goes into it. Like, when somebody is just at the very top of the top, whatever you're doing, I'm like, man, that guy's or girl is just a badass.
Mm-hmm.
Like this. I'm
Like when Jimmy was ripping off 5 straight championships.
Yeah, well,
have to
when you're
respect
competing
it.
against him, it's different.
I'm sure you didn't appreciate it as much
but,
at the time.
but he was really good. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, and he was super nice as well. But yeah, it just whatever it is. Like I just think when you're doing it, it's just like, man, especially the people that started at nothing and they're like killing the game. I'm
It's like
man,
even if you don't like it, you have to respect it.
yeah, you have to. You have to.
Do you think we're ever going to see that kind of dominance in NASCAR again? It seems like it's so hard with this car.
A lot harder with the car.
Yeah.
You're 100% right. The next gen car, everyone's pretty much the same now. And you can go from 0 to 0 in 1 week. Right? The All-Star race, we were the best car. We go to Coke 600 and we run 25th all day. You know, and you're like, jeez, like, what the heck? That's a 1 week difference.
Yeah.
You know, and now you go to Nashville. Who knows how we're going to be this weekend? It's just kind of how the cars are close. One little thing is all it takes to really have that advantage. You know, when we qualify now, you know, where we go out there and we run one lap to line up how the field goes fastest starts first, 1/10 of a second is usually close to 15 spots. 1/10 of a second.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. I mean, that's how quick it goes by. And so one little mistake, one little, you know, adjustment wrong to the car, and next thing you know, you're sitting there 15th.
Yeah.
You know, you put 2 little mistakes together, now you're 25th, you know, or 30th. And it's that tight right now.
Are you in favor of adding more horsepower to the cars?
You're
I know
asking
that's
a
been a
race
bit-
car driver if he wants more horsepower.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, come on.
It seems like everybody except for NASCAR is in favor of adding
Two
more
questions
horsepower.
that you asked. That's 100% yes. Add more money to the All-Star race and add more horsepower.
Yes.
That's 2 yeses.
Yeah, seems like everybody
the whole
except for
field to say
NASCAR
that.
is in favor of adding more
Yeah.
horsepower. So it was nice to hear them talk this week that that's something that they're looking at for this year.
It's on the it's definitely on the table. There's a lot of other pieces that go. It's not just as easy to say add more horsepower.
Yeah.
Add more horsepower. Like there's a lot of other pieces of the car that would have to be adjusted as well, right? The transaxle can probably only handle a certain amount of power, or it's going to have to be rebuilt more often, which is going to cost a lot more. Like you got to think a little bit about that stuff too, and say, okay, is this really the right thing for the sport, or are we just doing it because it sounds cool?
And they
Because
talked about
horsepower
doing
sounds
it
cool.
soon, which like that would require, you know, in between seasons at least.
Right.
figure
Yeah.
that
So
all out.
it would probably be next year, but I don't think it's going to be like, holy cow, we're going to have 1,000 horsepower in these things.
Yeah.
I think it'd probably just be another 70 or
750.
80 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I've heard. I've heard the same thing.
And on the track, have you had any crazy fan experiences of anyone sneaking in anywhere? Anyone?
Nothing too crazy. Nothing too
That's
crazy.
good.
You know, the interesting ones to me is like the tattoos. That one's an interesting thing.
Yeah.
Is it weird to see a grown man with your name on his body?
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't like. Okay, so I have one tattoo. We just got ring tattoos for our 10th anniversary.
Nice.
That's about the only thing I feel certain that I want on my body. And so I don't really completely understand it. But not that I'm like judging anyone. I don't like do whatever you want. I don't care. But I don't know if I'd want someone's name. Like, what if like you don't these people don't know me. What if I did something wrong one day
Yeah.
and you got my name written on your forearm?
Yeah. Literally. I think about that all the time.
What are you gonna do? You know, like
Cover it up.
I
Knock
bet
it
there
out,
were a
I
lot of
guess.
people who
I
had to
know.
get Michael Jackson tattoos removed
First,
back in the day.
first name that came to my head was
Yeah.
Michael Jackson too. I'm like,
yeah,
ooh.
yeah, and then you got this. You got to do something about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like.
Or you don't, and then you're crazy too.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You could be that. Like what happened to Dale Jr.? He changed his number. Everyone had the 8 on him. Like,
Yes.
at least easy for
Yeah.
them. They were able to put
have to
another
get another
8
8
to
on it.
88. Well, what if he went to like the 15 or something? Now, what are you gonna do?
Yeah. Or
So
like
it's a pretty big commitment.
if Ross Chastain would take over the 22 after you retire or something like that.
What's
and
gonna
then all of a
happen?
sudden you have a 22 on your arm and you're like, I fucking hate that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So kind of a weird. Yeah. But it's an interesting thing.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing. The commitment level is huge
Yeah.
for someone they don't really know that well, you know.
Somebody they watch on TV.
I mean, if I put
and-
my kids' names on my arm or something, I would do that.
Yeah.
My wife, I would do that, but that's probably where it's going to end for me.
Yeah, I feel like that's smart. I don't have
Yeah.
any tattoos.
I'm
and so-
I'm covered, but no one's name, so we're good.
I can see how it happens though, because so we went to the tattoo place and it was a apparently a good place. I don't really know what I was doing, but they have like all the artwork in the lobby, right? And it's all this stuff they can do. And you're like, wow, these people are amazing. And I'm like, yeah, I just want a cross, you know?
Yeah. That's how it starts. That's how it always starts.
Yeah, but it's just crazy to. And then you're sitting there like, man, well, that is kind of cool. That would be kind of cool if we did something like, and then you can fall right into the trap.
Yeah.
I see it.
I'm going to look like a badass now with my arm sleeves.
So.
Except the tattoo parlors, like everything's like so dark and like almost like scary, like demonic skulls. And I'm like, it's a little too dark for me.
Yeah, see, I thought it was going to be like that. We
Yeah.
must have went to some happy tattoo parlor. I don't know.
I've never been to one of them.
But it was like, it was nice and clean and.
They're very clean. They have to be.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. I was thinking it's more grungy, I thought, but it's not.
Yeah.
They're nice. Yeah, there you have it.
I know Aaron also wanted to talk about you visiting the White House.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The just the visual of you guys standing behind President Trump as he's talking about, I can't even remember what it was. Like, it was just amazing. So, I know you've been there a couple times, right?
Yeah, that was our second time. Yeah. We got to go when we won in 18, and then 22 we didn't get invited, and then 24 we got invited back, which was neat. It's such a surreal experience because you're sitting there and you're like, okay, I'm gonna meet the president. I'm gonna walk in the Oval Office. Like, this is crazy. Like, this is the place, right? Like, and you walk in there and it's just like it's just surreal. Like, it's just neat. And yeah, you had the Constitution right there,
seems like
right, the real one.
Yeah,
it's just and then whoever the president is, it's going to be amazing to be in there. But yeah, Trump was super nice. He talked to us for a long time. Had plenty of jokes to go along. The guy's funny. I got to give it to him. He's got a lot of jokes. So you're in the Oval Office, and then there's like a little hallway that goes to a little conference room. But in the hallway, there's a closet. And the first time I went there, it was just a closet. And he goes, I don't go in there. It's just storage. He goes, I don't go in there. That's bad juju. He goes, that's where Clinton and, everything went down. And I was like, oh, okay, we don't go in there. Well, this time he had it all cleaned up and it had nothing but Trump merch in there. So it had the hats, the shoes, the watches. It had all the golf tees. It had it all in there. Right? Like, oh, and he goes, grab whatever you want. I'm like, whatever we want, huh? Like, just whatever. And he's like, yeah, whatever. I'm like, so I took some shoes. That's all I felt like I was.
He has Trump shoes in there.
Shoes. I'm like, I gotta have these. And then we went out to the front lawn and had our race cars out there. It's kind of a special thing for Penske because we had the Cup Championship. Yeah. We had the Indy 500 car that Joseph Newgarden won with, and then also the IMSA car that the Porsche team won with. So it was neat. We had them all up there. But that was the day that they announced the hold on the tariffs.
That's right.
And the market was just going crazy up, right? And so the media availability went from talking about race cars and NASCAR and racing and everything that goes along with it to just tariffs. And so we're all standing there in the background for like 30 minutes.
It was an incredible visual.
Oh man, just like yes, it's for the longest time he's doing this full on presser. The media's going, it's just like on TV. Like, it was crazy. I'm like, this is kind of cool actually, standing there. But yeah, amazing how quickly he turns the switch on and off because he went from a relaxed environment talking to us because that's not like it's not game time, right? He's talking to us as we're just visitors there, talking about racing and stuff. And then he flips it on. It's like, oh, it's business, right? And he's talking about what's going on with the country. So a neat experience, a really cool picture to have your race car in front of the White House. Like, that's one of the coolest things that you can see.
I can't imagine. Now, I want to kind of wrap up with some rapid fire. It's not really that rapid, but they're very random questions. So just be prepared.
I love it.
Pick a movie, Cars or Talladega Nights?
I'm going to pick Cars. Only because I feel like it's more realistic than Talladega Nights. And I'm not sure Talladega Nights was good or bad for our sport, so I'm going to go with Cars. Because that was good for our sport.
Carl Edwards running across the finish line. So Talladega Nights is a little realistic.
It has some things that are real, but most of them, we're not like that.
All of us, anyway.
Just only at times.
What are your predictions for the rest of 2025?
22 car in the lead. At least that's their goal. Yeah, that's the only reason why we keep going.
What song do you have on repeat right now?
Ooh, What one song? I tell you, I just put on the radio and just let it go. But I like Hardy a lot. Big fan there. I'm also a big Walker Hayes fan, which I know is like the complete opposite.
Oh, wow.
But that's who I am, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about like I'm kind of both people, right? And that, like when I'm racing, I'm more like a Hardy, and then like away from home, I'm like Walker Hayes a little bit more like the family man. Is when I go do my yeah, all of that makes sense to me. So I kind of in between.
Do you like old country music at all, or are you more into the modern
I'm more
stuff?
the new stuff.
New stuff?
Yeah, I like the new stuff. I think it's amazing right now.
Have you listened to Morgan's album yet? Morgan Wallen's new album?
I said if the song's on the radio, I've heard it.
Okay.
But that's probably as far as I've gone with it.
Yep. It takes like 10 business days to get through the full album anyway. It's like
It's so
37
long.
songs.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's like 3 hours.
We went to the Morgan Wallen Hardy concert in Knoxville last year.
Oh,
and
that
it
would be
was
cool.
freaking bonkers.
Yeah.
The amount of people. I mean, it was incredible. The energy in there was nuts.
I've never
Really
been
cool.
to that stadium, so
It was cool.
I hear good things.
He had a bunch of guests for those two, didn't he? He had Darius one night and Eric Church one night.
Yeah.
So that seemed
Darius
like
was
really
there
cool.
the night we were there.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, he showed up. It was cool.
This will come out after the Darius Rucker's having a show here on Monday night at the Ryman, and Morgan's coming out with him. So
that's neat.
I'm so excited to see that. Do you have a go-to hangover cure? Do you get hangovers often?
No. And I can't say I drink a whole bunch either.
I mean, that's a great thing.
Yeah. I mean, I've been drunk enough one time to get sick, and I was like, I don't really ever want to do that to myself again. And so I've kind of just know where to stop.
Yeah.
Because
Especially
I
during the
realized,
season.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
during the season for sure.
Yeah.
But even like after we won the championship, I'm like, I know I got to wake up and be on tomorrow, you know? And when you have kids, it changes that all. Like for me, I don't want to drink in front of my kids. So that's one thing that like my wife and I don't really do. But also they still wake up at 6. No matter what time I go to sleep, they're waking up at 6 a.m.
Yep.
So I better be ready unless it's going to be a miserable day. So I don't find it worth it anymore.
As I get older, I'm starting to agree.
That's where I'm at.
Same. I'm like, I had a hangover last weekend, and I'm like, I don't know if I ever want to drink again.
yeah, why don't-
horrible,
this is
right?
I
fun.
say that every time. So
Yeah, so the cure is not to do it.
yeah. Can you name something that is underrated? Any topic?
Oh, wow. I wasn't ready
This
for that.
first thing that comes to mind.
Underrated. Ooh. Gosh, I have no idea.
Also, I'm going to ask
I
what's
can't say I've ever thought of it.
something that's overrated
Jeez.
besides drinking.
Yeah, apparently that's my overrated one.
I'll ask again, what's his name? Who's over
Yeah, I know. I was thinking like, what should I say? Golly, I don't know if I really have. I can't say I think about that stuff that much.
Yeah. Is there a food? People always go to like Chili's or like Cane's. I think it's
I
underrated.
don't
or
tolerate
overrated.
chili slander.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I
Everyone's
can't say the
saying-
last time I've been to Chili's. Here's something I think is overrated, like In-N-Out burgers. Like people love In-N-Out.
Yeah.
Cal-
Can you go to one? You're from California?
Yeah, I
See?
love In-N-Out.
And I'm like, it's great. Don't get me
is
wrong.
great, yeah.
But is it like the first place you got to go when you land in LA?
That's how I
But
feel
for
about
you, it
Raising
is. I
Cane's.
know it
It
is.
is. It
Because you're
is.
from there. It's like, but I think it's a taste of home.
Yeah.
And that might be
Yeah.
maybe that's what makes it so.
It's
and if you're
kinda-
not from there, it is
Yeah.
overrated.
Yeah, fair. It's like kind of like Chick-fil-A. It's like you know what you're getting every time. Not that
Yeah,
it's the best burger,
consistency.
but it's super cheap and it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the best burger you've ever had, but it's a good burger.
That's how I
So
feel
I
about Raising
understand the
Cane's.
overrated.
Like
Yeah,
everybody
fair.
always says that Cane's is the best chicken of all time,
and
I'm
I'm
like,
the same way.
it's
I don't know.
mediocre chicken, and everybody just loves the sauce.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's be real
It's a
here.
vehicle for the sauce.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know.
Okay.
That's my soapbox.
2 more. What is the largest animal you could take 1v1 in a fight?
Ooh.
Get
So
'em-
we were talking a little bit about
Yes.
this before it started. We were talking how I went to the zoo with my kids for a school trip, and there was a polar bear there, and I just decided that 3 of us dads can take on this polar bear. I don't know why I thought that, but now you're saying 1v1. That's a little different story. Ooh, the largest animal.
I saw a video of like a little bear, and I'm like, I think I could take a little
You
bear.
can take a little
A
bear.
little bear.
Yeah.
If it's like the size of a dog, I could take it.
So you always
take a
see those
black
in the,
bear,
that
don't
could
you
be a
think?
pet.
Black bear?
What do you think? Yeah,
A
Like a-
full-grown
like
black
a-
bear or
like a 250 pounder. Maybe.
Not me.
Maybe do it.
I don't know. I mean, I would definitely have to have the weight advantage over whatever animal I pick. Like,
But here's the thing, though. I think a small animal can tear you up, too, though.
I agree.
Yeah.
So we came up here early. Ford does a team building day with all the Ford drivers.
Mm-hmm.
And so we went to this resort that's just right up the road from here. And they did this happened today, a falconry thing. Have you ever heard of falconry?
holy shit, that
No.
sounds amazing.
And so anyways, this guy that trains these falcons and hawks and stuff. And they can come right up and they eat and then they come right up on your arm and they rest on your arm. And they fly right up onto you. And you're like, that's amazing. And I was looking at this bird. I'm like, this bird can kill me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, if it wanted to get me, I think it can. And that's a 3-pound bird.
Yeah.
So when you think about
Yeah.
it, and you ask me the question, I'm like, how small of an animal can kill me? Is also what I think. I'm like,
These
this
yappy
bird
ass
I held
dogs are
today-
pretty.
Yeah, this thing could have tore me up.
Small bear, small coyote.
Yeah, I think I could take a coyote or something like that.
Yeah.
Though. Yeah, a dog.
It also
If
like
a dog came at you, I think you can
Yeah.
handle it.
You also have to kind of set the parameters. Like, am I just trying to survive, or am I trying to actually take this thing down? Because
Yeah.
I feel like there's a big difference in my answers.
That's
Yeah, am I
fair.
going to get it to where it wants to run away,
yeah.
Yeah.
or is it am I willing to take some damage? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, at what point am I getting scratched up? I don't
Yeah.
know.
And if I have to
That's it.
outrun it, then I'll just
Give up.
enjoy your dinner.
Yeah. Either way, I don't really want to do it.
Okay. Fair. My last one of the rapid fire is, do you have any embarrassing moments while driving?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Of course. I mean, everyone has. Here's my most embarrassing moment. I'll tell this story. So I was like, 14 or 15, and at the time, I was kind of going down the road there where I was going to sign with Roush Racing. And I was racing the Pro Cup Series, which is a smaller series, still full-size cars on short tracks. So anyways, they provided our pit crew, and it was like their development guys. So we would go down to Roush's place and do pit stop practice. So it's always this old car that was there. Well, anyways, they just got done building this new car. And I would drive the car. So I got down there, and I couldn't drive. I didn't have my driver's license, so someone would always drive me down there. So I get in this brand new car, brand new pit stop car. Everyone's really excited about it. And I go to drive into this pit stall, and I push the clutch in, and I didn't have driving shoes on. So my foot gets kind of falls off the clutch pedal and gets wedged behind the brake pedal and then the clutch on the top of the other foot. And it gets stuck in there. And I panicked. I'm like, oh no, what do I do? I can't stop. And I go straight through the pit stall, and there's a bunch of tires in front of it. I just go way up over the tires into the fence. As the fence goes, knock the radiator right out of this car, crush it. Just
Out of this brand new car.
brand new, had the cool color changing paint job on it, all the cool stuff, right? And you're just like, oh my God, I just wrecked the pit car. And I thought, that's the end of my career. I'm done. If I can't drive the pit car, they're never gonna let me race a car. And then, it's so embarrassing because after that, you just want to crawl into a hole, but you can't leave yet because they gotta get the car off of the tires, out of the fence, and then you're pushing it back into the garage, and all the guys are looking at this car like, what did you do? Just got done building this thing. And yeah, I thought that was the end of my career right there.
Yeah, I
made
wonder
it, though.
how many people were present that are like, can't believe you are where you are now.
Yeah, they say that dummy couldn't even drive the pit car. Yeah.
Prove them wrong.
Oh.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time on
Yeah.
that note.
Yeah. Always wear driving shoes when you're driving a race car. There's the
Moral
lesson
story.
learned.
Yes. Yes.
No, we appreciate you being here. How much more? Do you have a lot of free time while you're in Nashville? I assume not. But
I
do you have?
try not to have free time. I try to just keep going and doing things.
Understandable. Do you have a favorite place in Nashville, or have you got to spend
It's
much
a
time
place
here?
called Victory Lane, right in the middle of Nashville Super Speedway. It's really cool, really exclusive place. Hard to
Guy's
get in
always
there.
on.
Yeah.
But that's the place you want to be.
Yeah.
You got a taste
It's
of it
cool.
last year, and
It's
now you're
super
ready to get
cool.
back.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
hopefully you get there again Sunday. So
I would love it.
good luck this weekend.
Thank you very much. I
Yeah.
had fun. Thanks, guys.
Absolutely.
Thank you.